If you happen to be one of the 850,000 people who wishlisted Replaced, I doubt the story had much to do with it. It was most likely the stunning, dark 1980s neon-lit retro-styled visual presentation, and if you loved games like Another World, Flashback, Prince of Persia, and the art style of Monkey Island combined with the combat of Sifu and Batman, then Replaced is already most likely a game you will enjoy visually. But there's a lot more on offer than just something pretty to look at. As I explored every corner, took photos to get info, and spoke to every NPC who lives in this twisted version of 1980s America, I found the visuals slowly melting away as the story pulled me in. You play as a character called Reach, an AI trapped inside a human body of a scientist called Warren, and this game is all about the discovery of who and what you actually are. And that's what kept me glued to this game throughout its 10-hour plus campaign. Everything Reach thought about the real world is a lie, and you have to fight back against the system you were once meant to be part of. It goes much deeper than that, but I really don't want to spoil the story for anyone because I found this was a very big reason to keep playing. The first 2 hours of Replaced, I found it extremely hard to stop playing due to the interesting characters that have all their own backstory, with side quests, optional extra things you can do that actually have game-changing rewards, challenging combat that unlocks new abilities. It also introduces new enemy types to constantly challenge you to make use of any new skills that you unlock. And then we have the pixel-perfect platforming and puzzles that range from super simple to others that saw me grab a pen and paper to write down clues, which is something I haven't done with a game for a very long time. It has a beautiful lo-fi synth soundtrack, which you'll find in the game as collectibles and can be listened to at any time on your Game Boy styled iPod Touch handheld called Wingman, which also acts as your one-stop shop for in-game settings, recording notes, viewing the info you find, and it also later on acts as a hacking tool. When it comes to Replaced's graphics, Replaced has a stunning mix of 2D pixel art combined with beautiful 3D pixel art, and it also has some awesome in-game cutscenes that makes this game impossible to get bored of looking at, mostly due to the mesmerizing side-scrolling 3D parallax effect combined with an awesome on-the-rail cinematic camera that does so much more than just sit at the sidelines. It moves in all directions, creating some very cinematic moments, and there's tons of detail everywhere you look in the environments. Even the Wingman handheld is beautifully animated. When it comes to the combat, it is very challenging, and I died at least 50 times throughout the campaign, and that's without the platforming sections that involve moving items around to reach higher ground, and later on introduces a double jump using air conditioning units, also making some of the platforming sections its own puzzle to work out. What this game does is constantly introduce new mechanics pretty much consistently to keep you on your toes, and when it comes to the story focused parts of the game, you can choose to either invest heavily into running errands for the inhabitants or simply push on with the story, but asking questions and performing tasks does actually carry its own rewards. This includes improving your overall health, the amount of stim shots you can use during combat, and enhancements to your combat proficiency. As you fight, you earn shots for your gun, and later you unlock an overload, which allows you to lay waste to many enemies at once, and the animation kills are very satisfying. Replaced, however, does have some moments of frustration, and this mostly happens during some combat sections and some of the platforming in some earlier chapters, and there is some minor glitches and animation issues during some of the cutscenes, but the developers are already aware and they have emailed me about some of the issues I faced, but I obviously have to mention them because this review is based on an early access version of the game. To summarise, Replaced is one of the most memorable platforming adventure games I've ever played, and even though some people believe the best days of gaming are behind us, this is where Replaced comes in as a reminder that there are developers out there, most likely classed as indie devs, making some of the best gaming experiences available right now. And in my opinion, Replaced is absolutely one of them, so I do give it a 100% buy recommendation. Well, that's all I've got for you today. Thank you ever so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.